Welcome back to our special Artemis II coverage. Orion will carry a host of mementos on board, including a 1-inch by 1-inch swatch of muslin fabric from the original Wright flyer the Wright brothers used to make the first powered flight in 1903. Also, a 13 by 8-inch American flag, which flew with the first shuttle mission, among others, and a copy of a photo from the Ranger 7 mission, the first U.S. mission to make contact with the lunar surface. There will also be seeds on board, soil from trees planted with Artemis I seeds, and an SD card, including the millions of names of those who participated in the Send Your Name to Space campaign. Members of the crew will be the first people to sleep inside the Orion spacecraft. So for more on how they will do this, think hanging sleeping bags. Let's go to Kris Van Cleave, who got a special look.
I'm here with Paul Boehm. He oversees life support and crew systems. Let's talk about sleeping. How does that work?
Well, it's a pretty individual thing for the crew members of where they want to sleep in Orion. As you can tell, there's not a lot of space.
I don't see fold-down beds, so how's it work?
There's no bunk beds, nothing fold down like a train or anything. So the way we do it is we have sleeping bags, essentially, that the crew uses. And they will, all 4 crew members have one of their own, and they will essentially mount them anywhere in the cabin that they feel comfortable with. I think the main attempt right now is the 2 crew members, pilot and commander, are going to probably be in the seats here, another crew member along this wall, and then in 0G, you get to use up and down as well. And so they get to tie these sleeping bags off any way they possibly can.
They tie it off wherever
they need to, and then you get into it. It's got a space for your head to stick out. It's got actually a little band that you can put over your forehead to kind of hold you down if you need to. And then really the other challenge is getting your arms, because in microgravity, your arms tend to want to float out like that. So we keep them inside. Or
have the astronauts already called dibs on a place to sleep?
I think most of them have, yeah. I can't tell you exactly who, because they do change them up sometimes. But like I mentioned, 2 of them probably here, 1 here, and 1 kind of hanging up and down in the tunnel.
How much time is allotted for sleeping on this mission?
So the crew gets a period before sleep, which we call pre-sleep, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then they get a full 8 hours of sleep. And then about the same period after sleep, and that's basically to get yourself woken up, take care of yourself in the morning, just like everybody does before you go to work. And so, but they get a full 8 hours of sleep is what they're scheduled for.
Is there any trick to sleeping in zero gravity?
There is, from a standpoint of being able to control the crew member and not have them floating around, which is why we have the sleeping bags. It provides that capability to keep them comfortable with a blanket type feeling, and then also keep you from moving around, because that way you don't have to stick bungees on yourself to keep you controlled from moving around. And the crew kind of sticks themselves in locations so that they can possibly go to the toilet at night as well.
You don't want to play sleeping bumper cars.
Exactly. You got it.
CBS News senior transportation correspondent Kris Van Cleave joins us now from Johnson Space Center in Houston. I told you we were going to run the packages. What else have we had? What else did you learn that you found the most interesting?
Well, I thought the need to secure yourself so you didn't float around and bump into each other while sleeping was so obvious. I didn't think about it until he said it. But you know, that sort of sleeping bumper car sensation would be problematic. You know, I think just the idea that you're living and working in a space that's about the size of 2 minivans for 4 adults to conduct all the work, all the missions they're going to do, to take the photos they need to take, to try all of these things out, to exercise, all of that stuff in such a tight space. I think it's just mind-boggling when you're sitting in there and, you know, there's not a lot of room to move around.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
when you think 2 minivans, it sounds kind of roomy, but when I'm looking at you guys look really cramped in there. I can't imagine spending 9 days there.
Yeah, you would lose your mind, maybe. But it's definitely challenging. I think just how you make that work and how careful you have to be to think out that workspace and living space. Yeah. It really is remarkable to me.
Okay, so we talked about the toilet, but is there like a curtain? I'm sorry that I'm like obsessed with this, but they're like all, you know.
There is a curtain.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, is there like a
Yeah, so
curtain
you're
for
not
the
on
boys
display for the
and a curtain for the girl?
There's a curtain. I think it's a unisex curtain that's deployed for whoever is using the toilet.
You didn't get to taste any of the food, did you? Like the mango smoothie?
I did not.
But the technology is incredible that everything
we got
they
9
eat,
days to work on that.
you either add water or you heat it on this like shoebox warmer.
Yeah, but I mean, that goes to just how much thought has to go into every single thing that goes in there. The gym is the size of a shoebox. You know, the kitchen is, you know, about the size of my research binder, if that. And that's in like and then there's a panel in the floor where you pull up, and that's where you get the water. Everything has to have a place and a purpose, and every centimeter counts because it's so small.
Kris Van Cleave, thank you so much for the inside look that you gave us. We really appreciate it.
Sure thing.